Good morning, my dear students. All of you know we are in the chapter Types of Animals and Plants. We have finished one section of the chapter. That means in this chapter we are discussing about types of animals and plants, and we have started with the animals, with the types of animals. In the previous class I explained you animals are categorized into two categories, into two groups on the basis of the absence of their backbone and presence of their backbone. At first we started discussing about those animals which have got backbone. That means we started with vertebrates. The animals are categorized into two groups on the basis of the presence and absence of the backbone, vertebral column. And the animals with vertebral column are called vertebrates, whereas animals without backbone, without vertebral column are called invertebrates. We read in the previous classes about different categories of vertebrates. There are 5 categories found on the earth which have category of, these are the categories of animals with backbones. Means there are 5 groups of vertebrates. We read about mammals, birds, amphibians, reptiles and birds. We read about the different features of all these groups. We read about mammals, that they reproduce by giving birth to their young ones, except platypus and echidna. These two mammals, they reproduce by laying eggs, but they come under the category of mammals. Then we also read that the bodies of mammals are covered with either hair or fur. Then the third point that we read about mammals was that the mammals, most of the mammals live on land, but whales and dolphins, these are mammals but they live in water. So these were the features of mammals. Then we read about birds. Birds reproduce by laying eggs, whereas the mammals, they reproduce by giving birth to their young ones, but birds reproduce by laying eggs, and they have wings to fly in the air. There are a number of birds present on the earth. They are called aerial animals since they live on trees in the air. And bats, we also got to know about bats as not being a bird, but it is a mammal. Bat is a mammal and not a bird. Then we read about reptiles. The reptiles have got tough, hard shells on their body, and they crawl on the ground. They reproduce by laying eggs. We read about reptiles like alligators, crocodiles, tortoises, turtles. We also read about some of the features of snakes. Then after reptiles we discussed about amphibians. These amphibians, they can live on both the places. They can live in water as well as on the land. Their bodies are adapted in such a way that they are shaped in such a way that they can survive in both the places. And most of the amphibians, when they are babies, they live in water, but as they grow, the lungs and legs develop in their body, and they can live on the land. Like for example, a frog, when it is a baby, it lives in water. When it is a tadpole, it lives in water like a fish, and when it grows, it develops its lungs and legs, and then it starts living on land. But even that, when it has got webbed feet, so that if it needs to swim in water, it can swim with the help of its webbed feet, and when it is on the land, it can leap on the ground with the help of its hind legs. Then we also read about fish. Fish reproduce by laying thousands of eggs during their life, and their bodies are protected by scales. They have got fins to swim in water. So these were the features that we read about all these 5 groups of vertebrates. Today we will start discussing about invertebrates, means about those animals which do not have backbone or vertebral column. I am sure you have gone through all the previous videos as I instructed you in the last class, because we have finished one section. We have finished discussing about vertebrates, and from today we will start discussing about invertebrates. In the next video I will explain you in details about invertebrates.